Welcome to Plan to Paint. I'm with me, Jim Sponseller. Glad you could join me today, and we'll be working to paint a nice little summer scene. So I've already got my 18 by 24 inch stretched canvas pre-prepared with a layer of thin down white for our base, making the surface wet for the paint to glide on and blend in. And today we're going to be painting some distant mountains with a stream that comes forth, a little bit of a waterfall. So we're going to have some mountains back here, a bit of a waterfall that comes over to a pooled in area where there's going to be a tree with some rope. This is going to be like the local swimming hole. And lots of green grass coming down to the pool area, and some cliffs back here where the waterfall happens to be, and some trees growing up on the mountainside up in here. And we'll see how it all comes together. So we're going to start by taking a clean dry brush. We're going to pick up a little bit of our Prussian blue. I had some oil separated out in the tubes here. And it's running down the palette board from my paints I laid out. Probably mix that in a little bit here just to keep it from sliding around. Sometimes I'm not paying attention. These paints will slide off. We don't really want that. So I clean off the knife. I'm going to do the same thing with the red here. I got a little black in there. Oh. Just going to marry it into the board, get that oil worked back in. Looks like maybe the Indian yellow needs a touch of this as well. I've already misplaced one of my cleaning cloths. But we're using our near fold palette here. We have our titanium white, our Prussian blue, lamp black, Van Dyke brown, alizarin crimson, sap green, a little bit of Prussian green, some yellow ochre, Indian yellow, our cadmium yellow, and our bright red. So let me get this one taken care of here so that it gets worked in with its oil, so it doesn't sit there and try to slide off my board. See how thick of a paint that is? It's great for this technique. And this is Winsor Newton Artist paints. Alright, so let's get our sky in place by picking up a little bit of this blue. We're going to leave little sections of white, and we'll work that into the bristles well. We're just making little crisscrosses, but we're going to leave a few regions in here for there to be clouds, so we're just going to put a few gaps in there. So now we want to go back over that and blend this in more. And really blend that out. We don't want these, we don't want to leave these streaks in the sky. Middle of the afternoon, sun's out there shining away. Isn't that easy? We've got a nice little sky, a few wispy clouds. So we can go back and further define those. If we would like, by taking a little bit of white into the corner of our brush. And just adding some additional definition. Think like a cloud sometimes. Just out here. Not many cares in the world. We're just easily floating along. Then you want to clean off as much of that paint as you can. If you're using the paint thinner, you dip it in, shake your brush out. Beat it on the side of the easel if you need. Let's see, I'm hitting a little bit too hard and streaking right through those clouds. Very important that your brush is dry for this last. Coming across, just kind of setting them more into the scene. Alright, so now we're going to take a bit of Van Dyke Brown, a little bit of our Prussian green in here. A little bit of crimson. And a touch of the blue. Doesn't need much blue at all. We're making this nice defined dark for our mountain peaks. Cut across, get that nice little roll on there, and decide where these are at. I think we're just going to have them over this way. And this is where the stream's sourcing, coming out of these mountains back in the distance here. And we need to scrape off any extra excess paint. Pull it down, give these mountains some form, some substance. Kind of go with in your mind, think about how the face of these mountains looks and kind of pull with the contour of the mountain itself. Now we're going to take a dry brush. You can use the one that we did our last blending pass of the clouds with, really, if you just get as much paint off of there as you can. And reach up in here, and we're going to start with the one that's in the furthest back. And pull it down. Don't touch the edge, just the face. Reach up in here. This one's going to be out here in front of this one. You might have even another face here. This one's going to be out in front of all of that. Then we got this one back here. Just going to blend out the bottoms. Water got to come from somewhere, so we're going to put a little bit of snow on these mountains. They're way up there. So we're going to bring down a bit of titanium white. And just a little touch of our mixture over to the mountain there. Get that roll of paint. Start with that back mountain. Let's do this one. This is really important that you go with the flow of the mountain, the flow of your land. We had this one coming out in front here, so we had a smaller mountain here. Looks like we need to bring this one down a little further here. Now we want to take a bit of our Prussian blue into some of the titanium white. We're going to make our shadow values. It's going to be a bit of a blue. We want it to be darker than our sky so that it stands stark against that sky in the background. If you make it the same value, it'll blend right in and you won't even really be able to pick them out back there. Just barely touch them. And our last one back here. And we're going to clean up that bit right in front. It comes across this way. I want to redefine this. This one comes across. Alright, we're going to take that brush that we used to pull the mountains down and dry it off, clean it off. Again, we're going to pull down just down the edges, bottoms. Clean that off again, and we're going to pull up just to kind of get that blend from where the mist is down below to where it starts to get clear again. Let me blend this out. Now that's way back in the distance, so we've got to add some distant pine trees kind of sitting out here. There's going to be a bit of a cliff back in here with some waterfall. So first off, let's get some of these pines in. We're going to take a little bit of our sap green. And I'm going to bring in a little bit of that liquid white in. And we're just going to make some indications of some trees out here. So, got some trees. And those are too light. Put a little more green in there, maybe even a touch of Prussian green. That'll darken it down quite a bit. We got the same thing going on this side over here. We're going to leave the sky a little bit visible there. Just kind of putting these indications. All I'm doing is using the fan brush and going straight vertical lines. Brush strokes here. A little more of this. some indications of some things growing back in here. Now we're going to take a dry brush and we're going to put in some more tree shapes. Some other types of trees grown in here. Maybe we get one that comes up out of there. Bigger than the rest of them. Just want to add some character. Alright, so this is gonna come down towards the valley here. Here we're going to take a little bit of white, some blue, we've got a waterfall that's just going to come. I'm going to pick up some liquid white on there. We're just going to add some mist. Got way too much. Switch to another brush. Pick up just white. Just for adding mist here. And that mist splashes up here. Also add some more, a little bit up in here. So the mist is going to go up, follow that cliff up. Well, essentially it's just going to kind of meander its way. Around into a larger pool of water right here. So I'll take some Van Dyke brown now. And a little bit of this white. We've got to make some cliffs. And all that is up on a ledge. And this is where it's really important that you don't overmix your colors. You'll get a lot of have some kind of rocky cliffs there. You'll get a lot of variation happening in there, and that allows the appearance of a ragged, rocky edge. On this side, I'm going to have a bit smaller of a cliff that's going to be right down here. Because we got to get down from, the land's got to get all the way from up here back down to here where we're at. And so by adding these vertical steps, people can see kind of how the land is going to flow here. Let's see here. I think we'll do this. There's a crackety edge here. Going to roll down, kind of a hill that rolls down this way and then kind of comes down this way and then breaks off here. We get a stark setback here. Alright, so we've got alright, so we're going to take a little bit of more white into here. I'm going to add some highlights. There's a few spots that are jutting out here. And underneath those spots should be a little bit of shadow. A little shadow here, if I can. It's not dark enough. Let's add a little bit of black to that. Just a little bit of shadow. Never you overdo it. Kind of got our sun off to this side, so we're casting a little bit of shadow on there. And the reason for the steps is that we got ourselves a bit of a corner here. A bit of shadow coming off there. A little bit of shadow as we turn to this corner. That's so amazing being able to just stand here, take this vision in your mind, bring it to life, right? Right before your own little eyes. It's definitely a very rewarding experience. So if you're not painting along with me, I would encourage you to do so. You'll gain that benefit of the joy of painting. What I have is a few craggly little things growing out here on these. get a lot of mist from the waterfall there. So we got little growths growing back in here. And some stuff growing up along the base. Then what we had back there, a little bit of white in here. Get in some sap green. So we had a little bit of a, that needs to be darker. Kind of a hill that kind of comes down here. Don't want it to be lighter than what's behind it there. We want it to be darker so that it separates visually from the black even maybe. So that it separates visually from what's behind it there. A little bit up on here. And then even darker as we come towards the foreground. We're just holding the brush sideways. We're just filling this land here. I'm going to work from my way in the middle down at the bottom and work my way up because I want this to be the darkest. And as I work up, I want it to naturally get lighter. Nice big open grassy place for picnics. Then we want to pick up some yellow ochre. Not yellow ochre, I mean, sorry. Some cadmium yellow onto our brush here. Start touching in some highlights here. Looks like we need a touch of the liquid white. Help this stick a little bit better. Pick up some Prussian blue on our brush, and we're going to go across, starting with closest here and working our way up. Straight across, don't swoop. If you do that, it'll look like your water's higher on the outside edges than the inside edges, and that's not what we want to have going on here. Alright. Now we get to have a little bit of fun. Up on the hill up here, back up in this area, we're going to add some sap green to our brush. A little bit of black. We want these to show up. We've got a stand of pines. It's definitely got to be darker. And we're just going to have, I think, maybe 5. Bigger one out here. And to get those to stand out, we're gonna pick up some more yellow cad. I'm gonna put a touch of Indian yellow in there too. These are I'm adding a little bit of liquid weight to this to help get it to stick better. Got that stand of pines up there, and I think maybe we need the stand of pines over here on this side as well. So let's hop to that, and we will be adding a lot more into this painting here. So we got a stand of pines here. On this side, we're just going to have 3. And give them their requisite highlights as well. Again, the sun's coming in from the left side, so I'll highlight that side first. We'll leave some of your darks in there. That's what gives it definition and shadow. We're going to have a few little bushy things living right here. Maybe a little bit of green that overhangs the side here. Things growing right up along that edge where it can reach the water. Now we get to go even crazier. Lots of Prussian green, lots of sap green, and a good healthy dose of black. Get this really worked into those bristles. I'm going to go back over that and define that again. Get more of a trunk. He's got a smaller friend over here. We want to give those guys a couple of trunks. So I'm just going to take the palette knife. Go with this Van Dyke brown up in here. Leftover mix. Just going to touch in a trunk for him here. Maybe a little bit wider as it goes down. And same for his little friend. I think we'll add a little bit of highlights to this trunk by picking up a little bit of the whiter. Just very lightly. Got too much on there. That's not going to work. I can get into a couple of spots. We're just going to add a couple of the lights getting through the branches. Not the whole way down the trunk, just what the heck. I don't have that pulled out very well. Now I want to go in and add some highlights to these trees. I'm just going to pick up straight yellow, the cad yellow, because as it blends with it, it's going to turn into a green on the canvas here. So we're gonna have to pick up some white into here. Very important to clean your brush in between if you aren't seeing a too much blending in your canvas. Bothering me. Dump some of that paint out of there. Alright, that's not so bothersome. And now we want to add some definition to the sides of the shore here. I'm going to add some cad yellow to that. Kind of a sandy color. Bit of a beach area here. On both sides. Well, let's see here. Pool's going to come around this way, carry the sand this way, so we'll just drop in some bit of a beachy sandy area here. It converts into just a drop off from the where the water level is, and get back in here. A little bit on this side. And what makes this the watering hole? Let's get this fan brush. We're going to use a clean fan brush. We're going to pull this sand up. Smooth it out more so than the rest of the ground around. I'll pick up some more of this. Pull it right in there. It's a little bit of a beachy area here. That's why this is one of the popular swimming spots, is it's easy to get in and out of. And the other reason it's nice and popular, take a liner brush. We're going to go into some Van Dyke brown, a little bit of black. Let's see. I think we're going to have to make it a bit more solid than that. Nice, thick. Branch coming off of this wonderful tree over here. This is a big old tree, so we got to continue building in where this tree is. more strength to it than anybody realizes. And so we gotta bolster this up a little bit here. It's important to keep going back and adding paint to your brush, because as you move across the background, you're picking up all that paint as well. And if you don't go back and clean your brush off, you're not going to get a clean, crisp tree. So that one's going to come right in off the end. I think we're going to leave this a grassy area for now. And we'll just add in some highlights to this tree, and then we'll add in some nice green foliage. I'm going to take a little bit of that yellow ochre mix from the sand with this white mix from the pine tree. We're going to put light on there, a little bit of light. And you got to think round of the branches. Kind of a bark texture. And it's got way too much on it there. Touch it along and pull it around. Little home for some squirrels there. Pull it around. A little bit light out here on this one. Alright, let's clean this up a little bit here. And one of the things that we've got going on here, one of the things they like, they all got together and they have placed a little bit of a rope around this tree. Just need some more definition in there. Might be better to do this one with the palette knife. So we've got a little rope that they've got tied to this tree so that they can have a lot of fun. Put a knot there. Another knot right here. Probably gonna have to redraw this, replace this here. So you get the idea. They got a nice little rope to hang on to. It needs to come down further, but I'm gonna have to fix the water up here yet, so I'll come back to that. What we want to do is take our greenery brush and go in some very dark greens again. And that one's kind of more of a dead limb. We're not going to really have... they've cut all the branches off of that one to make room for their rope. On the other side there, get some green on it. And we're just going to go straight into the yellow and whites. Let's see here, we're going to put some a little bit of crimson, a little bit of Indian yellow. Mix that together a little bit. Put some little things that live out in here. Break up some of this here. Maybe a little bit of living back here against this rocky. Maybe a little bit of it over here. Bringing this color into it. Take a little touch of the bright red and a little bit of white. Just a little extra color in, kind of livens up the image a little bit more. Let's see here, where do we need some touch-ups? We need to put in a water line, we need to put in some reflections, so I'm going to take a clean dry brush, we're just going to pull down. There's not a lot to reflect on the water here. We're just going to pull some color straight down here. And this is why I didn't want to really reflection off of the side where the beach comes down. And I'm just going to lightly pull across. Same thing, maybe back in here. Just very lightly come across. Give some variation to the water back in here. Now we want to take our knife and work in some water lines. We're getting pretty close to this one being finished, so we're going to take some titanium white, a little bit of the liquid white. We're just going to go back in here and kind of cut in bits of water lines here. This is going to separate where the land ends and where the water begins. And since we've got a little beach, we're going to have a little bit of foam catching on a few spots here. shuts out into here a little bit as the water comes around that corner. And a few ripples out here in the water. We need to kind of have our growth come right up over the edge here. Get some of that white pulled out of there yet. We also need to go in and a little bit of shadows underneath our pine trees. Tap away that with this brush here so we get the same texture. Let's see, let's get back to that rope and get that rope defined. I think we'll call this one done. Looks like we kind of wash out a little bit in the middle here where the water's making its turn. We might want to go in and darken that up a little bit here. So I will do that here in a second. But let's get back to this nice little rope dangling down here. Alright, so let's go back and darken that water up in the back. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to match the value to what we've got going on here a little bit. I don't want this to be too dark, so I want to pull this up. Kind of work my way up here. What this does is allow me to blend and pick up what's out here in the water, so that we don't transition too abruptly when we get back here to the water that's going on back in here. So right now it kind of disconnects, and we want to make sure that we connect that back up. Don't want it to completely fall away. What do you think? Should we have some, maybe a few cattails growing along in here? I think that does a little better job of connecting it up. Let's see. I think with that we're gonna call this one done. So thank you for joining me today. I will be streaming again on Friday, so if you'd like to paint along, I will have another wonderful scene prepared for us. Then, looks like I've got a disconnected pine tree here. I want to clean that up. We'll give these ones actual trunks. With it sticking up in the air there, it was looking a little distracting, so. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you had fun painting along, and if not, go get yourself some paints and join in. It's a lot of fun being able to create fairly beautiful scenes and right out of your mind, right onto the canvas. It's a very freeing experience. So with that, until next time, take care, and remember, don't be too hard on yourself. Just keep painting.